Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2.
I see this. It looks like Sarah is online. Can you hear me, Sarah?
Yeah, it's hard to see everyone's faces, so if you all could just state your name once or like before the meeting starts or once the meeting starts so that I can get the attendees and in person correct, that'd be really great because you're just a tiny box.
Got you. Well, right now we have in the room, just to give you our current attendance, it's myself. This is Erica. We have Melanie, we have Jean, we have Peter, and we have Penny.
And I think once we start to talk, sometimes it'll focus on who's speaking to, so that might help.
Yeah, actually, whenever you both just spoke, like, oh, there, now it's back on you. It keeps going in and out. So thank you for at least saying who was there at this time. Plus, I have bad eyesight.
All right, Kathy's walking in. Hi, Kathy. I think that makes 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. All right. Welcome, Kathy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. First, did everyone receive the meetings from the November 18th meeting? Any changes or corrections that need to be made? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, same sign? All right. Do we have any announcements from commission members for the group?
I'll just make one announcement.
I'll make one announcement. You all know that I was associated with the resource facilitation program that worked with folks with brain injuries, helping them to get into brain injury specific services and then navigate service systems beyond that. That recently was discontinued by my former employer back at the end of October. And so that program has been picked up by another organization and will continue starting in January. The reason I bring that up here is that so many folks with substance use disorders also have brain injuries of a variety of brain injuries and are at much higher risk of having brain injury, so may need that service. And so I just wanted to let you know that statewide that is going to be offered again. So we're all very happy about that.
Yeah, thank you, Jean. I would just keep everybody updated on as contact information and things
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else have updates for the commission? Peter?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that as a lot of time elapses between our meetings, that people keep their eye on the National Association of Counties website. They have a lot of really good resources keeping up with federal legislation that pertains to substance use disorder, and as well as other resources for counties, actions to take and things like that. As I see those, I'll send them out to the group, but I don't always catch everything. I just wanted to keep that plug in people's eyes.
Great, thank you. It's a good tip. Anybody online have any updates? Okay. I can't tell who is here. Oh, it does look like Kamala is here. All right, great. All right, moving along, we're going to go to a membership update. So today is my last meeting on the commission. I just want to say it's been a good experience. So thank you all for working with me I think I've been on the commission for maybe 5 years now. So I just want to say that if the commission moving forward does need like information or there's something that I can help with on projects, please feel free to reach out to me because I, still want to be supportive. Hi, Steve. I still want to be supportive of the work that you all are continuing to do. So Just to let Sarah know who's taking minutes, Steve Malone and Karen Rimbeck have now joined us. Thank you. We have a really exuberant quorum today. Look at this. Exuberant. Is there anybody else who's terming out this year, who's not going to continue on the commission? Okay, good. I'm glad there'll be some continuity. Well, I think one thing that we are supposed to address today is election of new officers. We typically have a president, vice president, and a secretary, and that is pursuant to the bylaws that we approved in January of this year. I think the only person who let me know that they might be interested in something is Melanie, who said she might be interested in secretary.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do we have anyone interested in either of those other leadership positions? Don't everybody pipe up at once.
I could serve in an interim role, but I cannot take it on. I'm pretty busy these days, not as an excuse, but I would be really interested in recruiting someone that could take it on in a more maybe someone that is in this career path. And I'm certainly not in this, a subject expert. So
Okay. I think that would probably help the group out anyway. Anyone interested in helping Peter in an interim capacity? All right, I think I think Jean and I have we've been working pretty hard the last couple of years. Okay, so I guess it sounds like what we might have is someone who's interested in serving as secretary, which is Melanie Veslage, and Peter is interested in serving in an interim capacity until he can bully one of you into serving as president or recruiting someone who might be interested in serving in that capacity. So any discussion on those nominations? I would entertain a motion on those.
Oops, I'll make a motion for both.
Thank you, Steve. Can I get a second?
A second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Peter and Melanie. Thank you for your service.
May I raise the issue of who we would need to have reapply to remain on the commission? I'm looking at the actual list. We need Kathy Hewitt to be reappointed, but that's I think an automatic one through the health department, because right now yours ends January 1st of 2023. And I hope you'll say yes. I hope you'll say yes.
Reappointment.
Erica, of course. Karen, your term expires January 1st of 2023. Cass Botts, whom we haven't seen for a good while.
Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah. And Nick Voles. And Sarah Larson, whom I also hope will stay with us.
Wow. Okay. Well, some of you folks, it sounds like need to let Penny and Dina know if you're willing to continue serving. So and if you're not sure about your status, Dina is always very responsive on, getting that information. At least she and I have been in close contact for the last year, and I would encourage whoever's in leadership to keep her apprised of what's going on. Okay, so at the last meeting, I think it was Beverly who suggested that we maybe try to come up with a different standing meeting time, because the third Friday at lunchtime seems to be a challenge for everyone. I don't know if you guys want to have a discussion about when you might prefer to meet. Since I'm terming off, don't have an opinion on it, but Do we have some suggestions?
I mean, I think we have to check with Dina to see when the room's available, right?
Yeah, I think there is
Start with that at least.
we'll have to have TSD and we'll have to have this room or some county meeting room available. That's a good point.
Mhm.
I think does Fridays at noon not work for majority of us, or is there another day that we could present that people are thinking? I know Peter and Penny.
Fridays at noon are ideal for me if I'm in town. The only issue is when I'm traveling. But you'll get abundant notice if I'm going to be out of town.
Well, and maybe it's that the third Friday has more meeting. I don't know if it matters, if it's like a different Friday or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can say typically Fridays at noon also work well for me, except if I'm going out of town for a 3-day weekend or something. But with this new position, I don't know exactly how that's going to shape up, but I doubt that most days a lunchtime meeting is going to be a problem for me to make. And typically later in the week might work better for me. So maybe Thursday or Friday, but
Yeah, I think sometimes there are pluses and minuses to like moving it, like, for example, to an evening or afternoon, there can be so many events in town and, for those of us who work in the county, it's easy for us to just pop over. Hey, Nick is here. Welcome. Pop over during our lunch break, but it might be less convenient to stay.
I'm
after.
fearful if we move it to an evening time, we'll have less attendance because by that time people have already left and gone home from work. I honestly, I would prefer leaving it as is
Okay.
based on where we are at this point in time, unless somebody just says they can't make it
All right.
consistently. So I would entertain just leaving it as is.
Okay, I think what I would suggest to the group is that we at least leave the January meeting at the third Friday. I can inquire with Dina to see when this space might be available or not available, and then I will provide that information to Peter and
Yeah.
you guys can run with it, do what you want to do.
If you would just CC me in that way, I can have it.
I can do that. So that being said, I don't have right in front of me what the third Friday in January is, but our next meeting will be the third Friday in January at noon. Thank you. January 20th. Thank you. Well, I put my phone away, trying to be a good leader over here. All right, so what Erica's gonna do is make sure she remembers to contact Dina.
That would kill me, or.
So
Talk about yourself in the third person here. I mean, come on.
it
I
is,
was about to be like moving right along. And then I was like, wait, better tell myself to do that.
that meeting is already on the county calendar for the 20th of January, and it's the only meeting that day
Oh, interesting. Okay,
so far.
thank you. All right, next item of business is Melanie took a crack at redrafting the letter to Mr. Quinones in response to his visits to Bloomington back in September. She did send us like a Google link, and I know Molly was like, don't respond to the Google link, but you could nevertheless look at it. I did print a copy. Did you folks have a chance to look at it? Okay. Any discussion about it, like suggested revisions? Do we like it as is? Any thoughts, feelings, concerns? Okay, you guys are, I can't tell if you're compliant or you're mad at me, but that's fine. Just joking, of course. Okay, so do we want to send this? And if so, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the letter to Sam Quinones.
Do I have a second? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank
Aye.
you. All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. We will send the letter as it is. Who do we know can reach Mr. Quinones? Do we know?
Probably the place he has like his media.
A media contact?
Yeah, he has an email. I have that.
You have the email?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of like, you should get address to get sent an actual physical letter to.
Well, we may have it because if he sent receipts to be reimbursed or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if he did that or not. He didn't send, if he did, I didn't receive them. So I think if you have the email address that you could send to Melanie, are you comfortable with being the person to send the letter, or would you prefer somebody else do it?
I think it's fine. Do I need to, I guess if it's in an email form, do I need to just copy paste whatever's in the Google Doc and then put it into an email, or do I need to send it as an attachment and put something else in the body of the email?
Oh,
Or is there any other
interesting.
things that I should be considering? And what would the title for the email memo be?
That's an interesting point. You might just try just first shooting him an email and say, ask him if there's a mailing address. Just say that you have a letter that you'd like to send to him from the Substance Use Disorder Awareness Commission. See if you can get a physical address. And then if that doesn't work, then we can consider whether we just copy the body of the letter into an email. I'm afraid if you send an attachment that's unsolicited, it's either going to go to spam or it's not going to get answered or read or opened, So that's how I would suggest. Any other ideas or thoughts?
Mhm.
He
Good.
lives in Southern California. Tell you that.
Yeah, go
Sounds
go
great.
serve him.
I wasn't planning on going to California this year, but we'll make
Maybe
an
next year.
exception.
All right. Oh, sorry.
Yes, that's the same one.
Okay, I just making sure it wasn't something I needed to pay attention to. Okay. Next. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna miss you guys.
This is your last one.
This is my last one. Well, unfortunately.
Do I hear a motion? Sounds like a motion.
I think we found our next president.
I think he's definitely a strong advocate for the group. I will, I'll be a, what do you say, emeritus member? You can. Okay, next item is whether we want to consider upcoming lunch and learn programs. I think it might be a little late in the game to consider a January one, but maybe you could come up with something for February or March. Anybody have
I
ideas?
still would like to get Dr. William Cook up to engage with us, especially given, so I look at the claims every week and there are autopsies and we're transporting bodies. We know we have people dying here. And I would like to get his input on ways that we can intervene.
Yeah, so Nick has been working on that. Do you know if he's receiving your emails or any way to know?
I have this one email address for him, and I actually reached out to Kelly, but and Kelly and this person, Kim, he fired Kim, so I can't now, that was my go-to, who I talked to,
Oh.
the secretary, Kim Buck, and then she's not working for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna write it one more time, and I'll CC, I can CC all of us, but I'm just gonna write him again and see. what we-
Okay, thank you, Nick.
Are we still considering January?
I think it's gonna be hard to promote it, get it organized and promote it in time, so I would probably start looking at least February.
Yeah, I agree. If we haven't heard back from the person, and Nick, if you're just not getting a response, let Penny and I know, and maybe we can
Can I CC too?
CC me.
Sure.
I don't want to speak for your email.
Okay. Are there any other ideas that we want to explore for lunch and learn opportunities?
You've had a great year.
All right, well, we'll just,
Do we have a topic for that?
Everybody's dying. Did you not hear that's the topic?
Well, I think one of the things that Dr. Cook was able to do was to. Huh? Oh, yeah. I think one of the things that he did was he motivated other people to get involved. And he also figured out all the state things that all the sort of how he got people to come and do things, because it was a crisis, an absolute crisis. And I don't know, we need help. Our residents need help. And so if he has suggestions, I would love to hear it. But that's just me. I don't want to speak for the group.
And he did it in a place really hard to do it. I mean, that community was not amicable to him, and we had Mike Pence who's not amicable to the solutions, you know, it's like really, that's the thing I like about hearing from him, is he has like this perspective on how to do something in a very hard place to do it and make changes like that. And I love your hair. Took me forever to notice it. I'm there thinking,
I love that.
I don't think that needs to go in the notes, but
Can I note that Sarah says that if we can please use our mics when we're speaking so she can catch them. I'm just looking at the chat over there.
Thank you for monitoring the chat. I'm not very good at that. I have a hot take suggestion for a lunch and learn, which you guys can take or leave as I am leaving. But I don't think it would be a bad idea to have Nick or somebody with the Indiana Recovery Alliance do a session on harm reduction work in the community. I know we had Jean do one where she talked about the brain injury services, and I just think keeping that harm reduction at top of mind and making sure people know what it is, how it works, would be really it'd be a good opportunity for Indiana Recovery Alliance and the group. So I would suggest that maybe be something that you do in 2023.
Well,
to do what it looks like to positively partner with the health department, because all these places are trying to do. It's okay. All these places, we went to the National Harm Reduction Coalition, and all of these places were in awe that we work so closely together. Like that we're amicable, that we're not like, oh shit, we have to have the health department, you know? And so they asked us, how do you do it? And so I go through these long diatribes of like, you have to build relationships, you have to meet halfway, you have to give a little to get a little, you know, and you just have to be really brutally honest at like all these different times. But it's something that we're working on for conferences upcoming and for just the general world of harm reduction, especially in a place like Indiana or Dakota or someplace where they, you know, might not be so progressive, but there's good people there, you know? And so I'd love to do anything, speak about harm reduction or speak about that. I'm really trying to flesh out what we are, because there's nothing like us. Like it's one of the cool, as I walk through harm reduction, there are very few places like Indiana in the area and the community we have in Monroe County. It is very rare, you know? So I'd love to do anything about any of that.
Yeah, I think that would be really, I think that would be a good opportunity for the community. So I would encourage you to find a time when you think that's going to fit with your schedule and get it on the agenda. So
I think too, if we could do it partly in person, it could be hybrid, but partly in person, if you could do some of the naloxone training too, and we could distribute it and also talk about the nalox boxes.
I'll tell you one thing, just speaking from like a person in the community, what would be really strong is if we as a actual commission discussed what we do. Do you know what I mean? Like a huge thing for me is when I found out what the integral pieces in the community are doing, people walk through their lives never knowing that all this stuff is going on behind the scenes, you know, like work after work after work. They just have no clue. You know, I was completely unaware of it, you know, and like we do a lot of stuff. We're trying hard to solve solutions that are impossible to solve. And I think that people would respect and receive us differently, and it might break barriers for us if they saw like, not only in, you know, maybe we do one on harm reduction for me in the health department, but also do one like, listen, this commission is sitting here trying to crack nuts. Do you have ideas? Do you want to be a part of it? You know, like, do you think that we're moving in ways we shouldn't move? Like we're all trying to be organically community orientated, you know? And I just think that it would show truth to power, you know, like when you get into spaces and you're able to say, here's what we're doing as a commission, we put all this stuff together. There's all these other opportunities for you, what do you think, I just think stuff like that is important for people who actually want to get involved. Some people don't ever want to get involved, but the people that do want to get involved can see what really happens in our world, that it's not like, it's not just going on in a blank void, we're actually trying to do something.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea too. Okay.
I just have another thought. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but just thinking about other forward thinking strategies that other communities are able to do. Folks like in Chicago, where they have the drug checking in a way that's connected with the university, in a way that they're working to reduce overdose deaths by using these other sorts of technologies. I don't know if that would be something just to hear from other places what they're doing to reduce fatalities. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you know anyone who has a connection with anybody involved in that work?
I am fully connected to all of them.
Okay.
In fact, there's a group called ACDC that does drug checking throughout the entire United States. Maya Dos Simpkins, and I mean, I know all of, like, they're friends of ours. Like, we'd be happy to be connected with them. It's something that we're looking at here. At some point, like the test strips just aren't enough. They don't tell us enough of a story, and we aren't identifying the real poisons. I didn't believe in the technology. I just want to say this. I didn't believe in the technology or that it was anything other than just that until I watched somebody throw an entire huge amount of drugs away
Oh,
because they found
Yeah.
the poison in it. It blew my mind. They threw them away. I mean, it was, probably thousands of dollars they threw away. They didn't want to poison their community. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it was unreal. So we're trying to get those things. It'd be great to have a talk about that.
Yeah.
Look like how we do it safely, how we do it legally, how we do all that, partnering with a research facility, all that. It's work, but it's definitely something that we should be doing if we're going to be trying to stop something,
well, gosh, if we do, quarterly, lunch and learns, it sounds like we've about got a full program.
yeah,
for next
right,
year.
yeah.
So, but it sounds like Nick, at least 3/4 of those are all you, buddy. So if you want to schedule those.
No, I'm gonna see if anybody who works for me wants to do them.
Well,
Yeah, I'll
and
do it.
to the extent that I can help, of course, I'm still
Yeah.
willing to help. So just let me know.
Awesome. I will.
And also, just for clarification, ACDC is the Alliance for Collaborative Drug Checking. And at least from my perspective, if you were to ask me what the definition of drug checking was, I would have no idea. So I think that's really helpful for the lay person to just do some basic education on what drug checking is, and that there's an entire association out there that's doing the best practices on it.
Yeah, I like that.
They named it that way because they called it drug testing at first. And all of us, we were all in a meeting at this conference, and we were like, God, that's horrible.
Yeah, everybody just thought they were on probation or something. Yeah,
Because we'd all, we're like, oh God, no. So they're like, let's call it drug checking.
yeah.
Because the idea is not to find potency. The idea is to find the poisons that are in there. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
like, it has just been I cannot reiterate. I went to North Carolina and saw one work, and then I saw one in Chicago, and I saw one in St. Louis, sorry. And watching these people be like, what? I mean, they blew their minds. So yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. Well, it sounds like we have some exciting ideas for next year, and I hope that you all keep me updated on that.
Oh, we will.
I'm not leaving the email distribution list, am I? Okay, so next item of business, which everyone is very excited about, is that we had discussed a 2023 educational summit. At this point, likely it has to be in the fall. It's very open. We haven't really talked about, what the topic might be, how long it's going to be, what the format will be, other than I know Nick is very interested in making sure we still keep Indiana Recovery Alliance and harm reduction at the forefront of the conversation. It is a big undertaking. You might wonder what this big expandable folder is. It is something that I am going to probably gift to Penny until someone takes responsibility for the summit. This is Andrea Havel's materials from when she worked so hard to plan our last summit, and she delivered them to me. So she was a member of the commission, and she worked really hard on the last summit, and it was beautiful. It was great. great summit. So these materials are available from the 2018 summit. And I will make sure, I just thought the commissioners might be a better place to keep custody of it until somebody.
I think she must have cleaned it out. I'm sure it was 10 times bigger than that at the.
Yeah.
I'll speak from experience because I was on the commission to do this and I was on the commission to do this and it took a lot of time, meeting, coordination. It was a pain.
Yeah.
It worked out well. I think it was very beneficial, but I'm telling you, if we're going to do this, I would actually say wait until 2024. Once we've done some of these lunch and learns and then move through that direction, if that's what we decide to do, because
Okay.
I agree, Kathy, that's not even a third of what she had.
To do this, we need people who are willing to dedicate a minimum of 10 hours a week just to the commission
Mhm.
for 6 to 9 months at least. Yeah, because that's what it takes to put on a conference, at least to the sizes of the ones that we did. They don't need to be that big. We can make them smaller and that might be a lot
Yeah.
easier, but it's we need members who can do that before we agree to do that.
Yeah, I will say the summit, I went to the summit I think I was volunteering, but I attended sessions too, and it was really good. Like it was as good as many of the national trainings that I've attended. I mean, it was a really cool experience that brought a lot of people from a lot of different, the multidisciplinary folks like treatment providers and law enforcement and judicial and just all different kinds of folks were there to present and learn together. And I thought it was really great. It was a big deal. I kind of wonder if, for our next one post-COVID, it wouldn't be smarter to like maybe do a little bit smaller of a thing, like maybe just one day of sessions and try to hit a little bit of the highlights of everything. But, I thought having these materials might help inspire whoever gets to work on that next and help with some of the details. So I will leave that with Penny, just in case, so that you guys know where it's at when you take that on. Yep.
And none of the old files have been digitized. Everything's still on paper.
She did docs. Now that you say that, she Dropboxed me something.
Oh, okay.
I'll look at that and see what it is. I won't get rid of it. And Andrea, I will say she's still accessible. She was really happy to respond to me. I would also say we do still have a Facebook page, and the person with those details and login information is John Simmons, former commissioner. So every time I wanted to advertise something or have something posted on behalf of the commission, I asked Mr. Simmons to do that for me, and he was very happy to still be involved. So anyway, I would just put that out there for whoever's mining the store after my time is up. So, yeah, so as a commission, we probably just need to see who might be willing to explore. It is a big undertaking. I wonder if it wouldn't be something that maybe, I don't know if the commission can have interns or something. Yeah, Peter.
The health department does have a part-time line in their budget. So that could be an option. We'd have to go through all the appropriate channels and, talk about all of that, but that is an option.
Interesting.
And that could be for an intern or, a staff person or whatever. But again, yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds like a brilliant problem solving on behalf of interim president Iverson.
I was thinking our health department staff at the table could, I'm kidding.
Can I ask how many hours it took, like if for the people that were involved the last time, like how many hours per week folks were spending?
Well,
Like how many people were on that group planning?
I recall that there were probably 3 or 4 folks who were really heavily involved with it. And Kathy just said she thought it would take about at least 10 hours a week for up to 8 or 9 months. So it was a big commitment. It's a part-time job.
And I think also that like IU Health helped with some of the printing costs and, so Carol Weiss Kennedy was really integral to getting some of that done too. She's a former member.
Plus the fundraising, you have to, they raised a lot of money through there from the different corporations. So that was definitely something to consider too.
And that's when this commission probably had 15 members at least, if not more, right? I mean, it was a lot bigger than it was then. And just what are the chances, putting you on the spot, Nick, sorry, what are the chances of you doing something like this for an all-day event instead of just a lunch and learn? Or can you cover what you need to cover in an hour and a half? Or is this something maybe we could?
I could talk all day. I could talk all day, dude. I live this life. The thing is like, I'll say 2 things. The Southern Harm Reduction Conference, which, I go to all these different conferences and I helped with some of just the logistics. And this was getting plane tickets for my union people to get there and logistics for them where they're going to stay and getting them back and forth from where they had to go. It was a full-time job. Like she is not kidding. It is a lot of work. Getting 1 or 2 people or even a company or something to do that menial work seems not like much, but keeping up with the emails, having just one, we'll all put 8 million volunteer hours in it anyways, but having someone or some entity do the bulk of it, they get paid well for what they do. It's easier to do. Doing a whole day would be great. Like I've thought about this before and I think it might even be, I don't know. I always want to do things right away. Someone was like, oh no, let's do it in 2023. But like, you might be right about that. And we need to think what we want to do. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to think of the problem of what's the outcome. What do we want to have as our outcome? We want people to be a greater understanding of like what we're doing to deal with the overdose episode and with, bloodborne pathogens and how we're stopping them. So I think we should start there and then dial back. And as long as it takes us to get to where we know what we want the outcome to be, then we can go from there of how big or how small it's going to be,
Yeah. I think if you look at our founding ordinance that the commissioners passed, as a commission, our goal is to work to destigmatize substance use issues, but also to sort of leverage like what are the resources in our community to address them and what are some creative solutions. And so that's kind of our guiding principle. Yeah. So looking to that, in the past, I know it was pretty Indiana Recovery Alliance. Like there was a lot of participation by you all.
Good. I mean, we're willing to put endless hours in. This is our world. You know what I mean? So like that part, I get salaried. You know what I mean? Like I'm working no matter what. And if it's for something like this, I'm happy to put, I have staff, I have volunteers, I have endless IU volunteers sometimes. So like literally we could tap on a bunch.
Yeah, get some of those folks to come and help.
There's also, what we could do is we could go, like I learned about a couple of programs when I first was the ED here that are like, you write IU for a certain program, and then they do this certain thing for you over the time. And there are people in there who are literally going to be development directors or media people. And we could probably get 1 or 2 in their end year. Maybe they could do their dissertation, if they're going to be like event staff or something, they could literally do their end dissertation on that, or that could be their final product for graduation or whatever. I'm just saying, well, let's use IU for all we can. I mean, they're a big, huge part of our community and they can give,
We can apply to have SPIA fellows work with us. And I don't know if anybody in public health, Peter?
Yeah, I think the O'Neill School and the School of Public Health could potentially be interested in this, particularly if there are CEUs involved and other class credits and things like that.
Yeah, we did that last time for sure.
I
I
saw
got
that on one of the
continuing
folders.
legal education.
Yeah.
with it too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, big things to discuss. I'm gonna leave it to you all for 2023. But I'm also gonna leave this gift with Penny.
Really like how you chuckle after.
All right. I think that's the extent of my agenda. Do we have any other items of interest for the good of the order?
When you email Dina about the dates availability, can you ask her to add our term expiration dates to our website? Some of the commissions and boards have them and ours doesn't. That would be helpful. Thanks.
Mhm.
And in addition to that, I'll also touch base with her to make sure the agenda and the minutes are on this sort of thing. Because I know on the calendar invite, it wasn't available. So that's helpful to have the public get involved and kind of learn more about what we're doing and follow along.
Yeah, yeah. So we, just for Peter's benefit, I send the agenda to Dina and the group on Monday of the Friday meeting, and Dina makes sure that it gets posted publicly. And then after we approve meetings, or minutes, sorry, I then send her the approved minutes for her to put on the website.
That's really good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, yep. And I can include you on my next email so that you can kind of get a feel, get a taste of that experience.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Sorry,
Thank you.
I've been teaching, I was about to tell a story. It's a personal story. I don't need to tell a story at this meeting. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for all of the work that you do. Everybody in this room has a large impact on individuals in our community who are experiencing substance use disorder and even like mental health issues that aren't related to substance use. So thank you all for the work you do. I would say everybody in this room has a service mindset, and we can definitely get burned out and get drained. So take care of yourself. I hope you get a little downtime over the holidays. And just because I'm coming off this commission doesn't mean that any of you have to forget how to get a hold of me or.
We won't.
Okay.
We know where your office is.
Yeah, you guys.
So
Look at you guys.
I think it's very useful to have somebody from prosecutor's office be involved, as well as the public defender's office. And so I wonder if you can identify and persuade someone from your office to
Gently encourage.
Gently encourage participation. Okay, I will do that. I will see if I can flesh out a prosecutor's representative for the group.
Or maybe keeping you on as like an adjunct or something. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Like, it literally, that's where we have, I mean, it's a functional part of what we are, I imagine.
Mhm. Yeah, and I want to make sure I keep track of what y'all are doing and help to support you as much as I can. The real reason I didn't renew my, I probably would have just kept doing this forever, but I'm on another board that conflicts, and so that meeting is in Indianapolis the same morning as the meetings here. And so that's why you were seeing me in my car there quite a bit. And it was tough. It was tough to do both. So I will see, I will certainly ask folks in my staff and see if we can find a prosecutor representative for the commission, and have them apply through Dina.
And Erica, I'd just like to thank you for serving as president, and getting a lot of stuff done and, working to get everybody here at the meetings and so that we can have an in-person quorum. And I really appreciate everything you did in this past year as president.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you didn't come away with like, oh, she nags and is kind of mean. So, which might be true. But thank you. It's been, like I say, it's been great. It's a little bittersweet for me to come off of the commission because I've been involved for a long time, and I think it's important work that we're doing. So I will work to see if I can find a prosecutor appointee for you guys to utilize, but I mean it when I say, like, you can keep me informed of what you need and what you're doing. All right. If there's nothing further, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
I think.
All right,
Oh, yes.
we'll be in recess. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna email Dina.